Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Zeb Allen, and today I'm going to be talking to y'all about the history of country music. So, country music originated in the 20th century amongst working class Americans in the South of the United States. This happened whenever music genres such as Appalachian folk and blues conformed together to form the early stages of country music. Now, while this was happening, it started to gain national attention as this sort of country music started to gain popularity. And somewhere around the 1920s is whenever it started back in Eastern Tennessee. It started in these places such as Bristol, Johnson City, and Knoxville produced the first recording sessions of country music, capturing the intriguing sounds emerging amongst mountaineer musicians living in the Great Smoky Mountains at the time. At the same time, in Atlanta, a vibrant music scene pulsed with the music brought by former Appalachian residents who had come to Atlanta to work for its cotton mills. This formed a sizable audience who yearned for their hillbilly music that they had left behind back home whenever they came to work. Music promoters now had that necessary ingredient to commercialize country music. When a promoter discovered Fiddlin' John Carson, one of the most popular country artists in the 1920s, it started to become an official genre in the landscape of American music. By the early 1930s, country music began playing on AM radio stations around the world. At this time, also, famous entertainment venues such as the Grand Ole Opry began to incorporate country music into their shows as well. In the 1950s is whenever the famous Kenny Rogers began his infamous career. He started and was probably one of the most influential and well-known country artists around the world, and he still is today. His song, The Gambler, is known for selling over 5 million copies and has been viewed over 200 million times on YouTube. This is just one of his songs. Altogether, Kenny Rogers has sold over 100 million records over the course of his 61-year-long career. But let's go back to The Gambler. The Gambler is played on the guitar. Now, the guitar is something that has been used by country artists since the very beginning. Along with the guitar, there's things such as the acoustic guitar, which is this one right here, and there's also things as the electric guitar, which is more used for rock and roll, but it is also used in country as well. So this is a little bit of what Kenny Rogers, The Gambler, sounds like. So Kenny Rogers, The Gambler, is a very popular song and is well known by a lot of people, not just people that love country music. The Gambler is one of those songs that is just one of the most well-known songs ever. It has been played, as I said, over 200 million times just on YouTube. On Spotify and on Apple Music, it has been played over that, probably over 300 million times. But that country music artist began to have a certain style, as you would say, after Kenny Rogers began his infamous career. Now, Kenny started this image of country music beginning in the South, and that's where it began. And so people started to take on the cowboy look because they were cowboys at the time. So whenever people would perform, they would come straight from work, and so what they would wear is they would have something like this in the summertime, which is a straw cowboy hat. They would wear straw cowboy hats in the spring and the summertime because it was so hot. And then whenever it would get towards the fall and the winter, they would switch to something like this, which is a felt cowboy hat, just to help keep some heat on their bodies and to keep them warm. Now, along with this, workers would wear either like a collared shirt or they would wear just a regular t-shirt, just depending on where they worked at. But they would usually just wear their work clothes whenever they would come and perform because they wouldn't have time to go and change into whatever they wanted to wear. But also they love to wear what they wore to work. Anyways, They would also, along with those hats and along with that collared shirt, they would also wear jeans, probably usually bootcut jeans, because they would always wear their cowboy boots to work. Now, there's a lot of different styles of cowboy boots, but probably the most popular style at the time, and is still probably the most popular today, is a steel-toed boot. So now this is a square toe, and as you can see, it's a square, but there is a steel placed at the top of the toe, so that way whenever you're working, you're not going to have anything fall on your foot, and you're not going to be able, it won't be able to hurt your feet at all. So that's probably what most people wore, because it is such a good work boot, and so they would just wear what they wore to work. Now, over the years, country music has now modeled itself into numerous different styles. There is things such as honky tonk country, which is more of what Kenny Rogers was, which is an older style of country, but it's more of that original style, and that is something that is super popular. And line dancing has actually become something that has helped spark the amount of popularity in country music, because line dancing is a form of dance that has evolved from country music, and has used country music as sort of a gateway to being able to dance in bars and things around the world. So that is the first style, is honky tonk. And then after honky tonk, the newest version of country has been country pop. Now, the newest person that has really evolved and has really brought a light onto country pop is this person called Zach Bryan. He's burst onto the scene this past year, and he's awesome. He's number one on the charts for his song Something in the Orange, and he also uses a guitar. And I'm going to play y'all just a little bit of one of his songs, which is Something in the Orange, which has reached number one, and it is probably one of his most well-known songs. He's probably the most hot and up-and-coming artist that has come onto the country scene. So this is Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan. So it's very similar to Kenny's style, but it is a little bit more new school. So from the beginning of country music in the 1920s to now, country musicians such as Zach Bryan, there has been a little bit of changes made, such as just adding a little bit more style and that sort of thing. But the sound of country music will always be a good one.